Hey guys, Greg here with the Thrive Tribe. Just wanted you guys to join me on my bike ride today. Just kind of give you a little bit of inside scoop on exactly what my routine is looking like today. Just doing some cardio. I like to do cardio on Sundays, high intensity cardio on Sundays. I try to get high intensity cardio in about 3 days a week. This allows my heart rate training. I do different types of intensity training just to allow me to get above what they call your anaerobic threshold. So just to give you guys an idea of what that means, anaerobic threshold just means that whenever you're training, anaerobic is without oxygen, right? So you're not allowing that oxygen to operate as efficiently. Aerobic is with oxygen. Okay, so anaerobic threshold is where my body begins to really work without oxygen, and I'm basically performing at a level that exceeds burning fat at the optimal rate. Okay, so 80% of the time you want to stay at or below your, what they call your AT or anaerobic threshold. That allows you to burn fat more effectively. You get above that anaerobic threshold. And that begins to use less fat stores as energy. And you can't get into a situation of burning the lean muscle tissue if you sustain that for a long period of time. So that's why 80% of the time you want to stay at or below that AT. Typically it's called zone 3 or 4. You're looking at a heart rate zone training chart. And so you stay in that 80% of the time burning fat, 20% of the time pushing up your AT, because that allows you to condition and increase your endurance and train that heart in a way that it increases the endurance of your heart. But again, only 20% of the time. So when I'm biking, I will push it above that AT multiple times when I'm doing that type of aerobic cardiovascular training. So whenever we're looking at optimizing burning fat, again, you're staying at and below your anaerobic threshold. There's different ways to identify what that anaerobic threshold is. There's some tests that you can do on the treadmill. I'm going to actually put that in this video and attach that, so you can actually, if you get on a treadmill, you get an more exact measurement. But there's some physiological factors that really show you when you're getting to that stage, when you're in that anaerobic threshold. One, physiologically, is what they consider like a drop jaw, right? Remember, anaerobic is without oxygen, so you're trying to get more oxygen in, so your jaw drops to allow more oxygen in. You definitely are not able to focus as well above that AT either. So those are two big indicators. You feel like you're pushing harder to exhaustion as well. So those are some good physiological clues. But it's so important, guys, to train, to do heart rate training to get the most out of your exercise. I do heart rate training every single day with my exercise, because I want to know exactly how my body's responding, where I'm at, if I'm working too hard. Because guys, you got to remember, whenever you're trying to get results, especially in weight loss, so you know, 75, 80% of our population that's obese or overweight, which is just, you know, it's gone up dramatically. You think with all the science and data out there, it wouldn't be like that. But that's why I'm here on this channel, to help everybody understand, to see what it looks like to train effectively. So you don't want to work harder, you want to work smarter. And you guys probably heard that phrase before. So I want to reiterate that through heart rate training and staying in your different zones. The best way to do it is, first of all, you want to get a fitness watch. Okay, so I use the Nike fitness watch, the Ultra watch. If you're not a big fan of Apple, or it's maybe a little bit out of your budget, I would highly recommend the Wise watch. Wise makes an amazing fitness watch, has a lot of great capabilities, as the Apple Watch does as well. You can get one on Amazon for about $50. On your left. Thank you. Always try to be courteous to my walkers, slow people. So sorry for that interruption. I'm in a little bit of a headwind here, so I'm pushing harder. Right now my heart rate's at 149. I'm approaching my AT very rapidly. Push it up there and keep it up above my AT for about 20 seconds. So my speed is increased dramatically. You'll hear my heart rate, you'll hear my breath increase, as well my intensity increase. I pushed it up to 162, which is really good. So I'll do several of those intervals. I want to be putting this exercise program down below as well, step by step, on how to achieve these results, how I'm burning the fat 80% of the time during my cardiovascular routine. So if you're just strictly doing cardio, you've got to do heart rate training to get results. Most people are working way too hard of where they should be. They're pushing the heart way too hard, and they're not getting the fat loss that they need. On your left. So, of course, I'm a big proponent of strength conditioning. Anything you do, you have to have balance in life, right? You can't just do cardio and expect results. You can't just do strength conditioning and expect results. But as far as transforming your body, your physique, resistance training, strength training is the most optimal way to do that, because muscle is 5 times more metabolically active than any other tissue in your body. So when you think about that, the more lean muscle tissue you build, the more fat you're going to burn, even at rest. Get this, guys. Get this. Listen to this very carefully. If you go do, let's say I'm doing my bike ride today, right? And I'll end up doing 45 minutes of biking. I'll burn calories for up to about another 30 minutes. Okay? In addition to the calories I burn while I'm biking, right? So it's about an hour and a half, 2 hours, if you look at that. I go do the same amount of resistance training, strength training, for 45 minutes. I'm going to burn calories up to 24 hours. Fat. Be burning fat for the next 24 hours, even while I'm sleeping. So you can see the dramatic difference there. That's why it's so important to incorporate the resistance training, strength training into your complete routine. Now, you know, why I emphasize the cardio is because you do have to have a healthy heart. You have to have a strong heart in order to maintain that. Your heart, of course, as you know, will give you the endurance to do the strength training, right? You're increasing the pulmonary function, the lung function of your system. So that lung capacity increases, they increase what we call your VO2 max, just the amount of volume of oxygen that you can consume over a given time. The more efficient what they call your VO2 max is, the more efficient the heart and lungs work together. So you can see how critical that is. So of course, when you're doing resistance training, you're doing high intensity, you need that. So you need a complete program, and that's what I'm here to deliver to you guys. Like I said, I've been doing this for over 30 years. It's my passion, I love it. There's nothing better than seeing people become healthier, have a better quality of life because their health is improved. As you guys know, everyone's been sick. Everybody knows what that feels like. And it literally incapacitates you. You can't really do anything. But imagine that on a scale, multiply that by 25, 50, like the worst day you ever felt. And when you get into chronic illness, chronic health conditions, that's every day of your life. When you have heart disease, when you have diabetes, when you have issues with your kidneys, when you don't have the skeletal structure to the muscle to support your joints, your spinal cord, your body begins to fall apart. You know, and it all starts with one important thing too. It's so crazy because most people are always looking for the outside. What can they look like, right? I want better arms, I want better legs, I want a bigger butt, I want a smaller butt, I want to decrease my thighs, I want better abs, right? But with that situation, everything starts with the core. What is the core? That's your abdominal, and your largest muscle in your body is the lower back. Okay, so when you strengthen your abdominals, that also strengthens, in turn, your lower back. When you have good posture, you have a strong core, you're able to make your strength conditioning that much more efficient, that's much more effective. So I always start people on their programs with core training. And they're like, but wait a minute, I thought I told you I want better tone in my arms, right? I can see what this is doing for my abs, but what is this doing for my butt and my glutes and my calves, right? I'll spend about really half the time on their initial program training their core and what that looks like, how that works. And after about 2 weeks of doing that, their whole body feels stronger. And then an aha moment comes along. Now they're excited because they truly feel the difference of total body strength. That's what we're looking for, guys. We're looking for functionality, right? So that when we're 70, 80, 90 years old, we're still able to function in the same way. Our body's not breaking down. We have the flexibility. I work on the flexibility and the core together the first 2 weeks of any program. Not doing a whole lot of other strength exercises, just a few fundamentals, but really the flexibility and the core. People, when you do that, you know, most people are like, well, I'll go do a bunch of squats. For the guys, I'll go do the bench press. I want a big chest. I want big arms. There's nothing wrong with that. That's all good, depending on your age and your goals and what you're really trying to accomplish. So, as an athlete, of course, you have to have that strength. I was very fortunate to be an elite athlete in my younger days. Played Division I college football at the University of Oklahoma. I played on the U.S. National Olympic team on team handball. So I know what it takes to develop athletes as well. And I know what kind of workout that is. So, as I've studied the science, my degree's in health and sports sciences, basically it's kinesiology. So I apply science to everything I'm telling you guys. I just don't make this up. And after training hundreds of clients from fitness models to pageant girls to professional athletes, basketball, NBA, NFL, hockey, train many kids as well. And I'm not saying this to brag, but it's just what I've been able to accomplish over my years. And then putting that to test in my own body every day, pushing those limits. That's when I started as a young pup. I'd always grown up playing sports, running track, playing basketball, playing baseball, and then eventually getting into football. And so I always had that will, that desire to compete at the highest level. I'm not saying that you have to have that, but you have to have a reason why. So important to have a reason why you're doing what you're doing, or you'll never stick with exercise, fitness, health, or anything else in your life. That reason why applies to everything. So you have to figure this out for yourself. Why do I want to be healthier? Why do I want to get stronger? Why do I want to have more functionality? Why do I want to live a better quality of life health-wise? Because everything leads into another thing, right? You can have the most money in the world. That really doesn't matter if you don't have your health. And you'll hear that from millionaires, billionaires, all day long. They are all looking for that fountain of youth. So important. And it's really not a secret, guys. It's just finding the right information, the education that works for you. And that's what my goal, my objective is on this channel, is to help you succeed in a way that you succeed physically, financially, spiritually, mentally, in all assets of life. Right? Because when you're clicking on all cylinders, life is good. Life is great. Life is amazing. And so, I don't teach or preach any fluff here. Everything is science-based, evidence-based, and what really works physiologically. So that's why I'm so excited to bring this new aspect of my channel to you guys. Again, my name's Greg Rainbolt. That's why it's Rainbolt's Thrive Tribe. We are a tribe. We are a community. We are making this happen together with everybody's input, with what's working for you. You know, I'll be delivering incredible content to you guys on a weekly basis and bringing you nutritional tips, fitness functionality, fitness routines, ongoing. There'll be a community that you can plug into called the Inside the Tribe, which I'm very excited about. For more personalized exercise routines that will meet your specific goals. Whether you're getting ready for a marathon, or you want to do an Ironman, or you want to do any type of challenge or race, you're getting ready for a competition, you want to do a fitness competition, you want to be a bodybuilder, or you just want to get healthier, you want to feel better. Your doctor told you you have high blood pressure, right? Because we get into all that too. We're going to get into that in a big kind of way, because that is something you've got to have a roadmap to where you're going. You got to know where you're at in order to know where you're going. You know, I did a lot of hiking and camping when I was younger in the great Colorado Rockies. Loved it, every minute of it. Hiked in a lot of places around the world and just felt blessed to do this, see the beauty of the mountains in the trees and waking up into that fresh mountain air after hiking 12 miles in a day, and just accomplishing those goals. So you want to be able to enjoy life to the fullest, and that's what your health brings. You can go on vacations. I've seen people on vacations, unfortunately, that are just struggling to walk because they're overweight or they've had an injury. They're breathing, and they don't look like they're enjoying their vacation at all. You guys have probably seen the same thing, and it's not funny. It's sad, and I hate to see that. But there's no reason it has to be like that. There's really not. You look at heart disease, diabetes, the major chronic illnesses and conditions, they're also the most preventable. Obesity, right? And of course, there's always things that are contributing to that. It's not just, a lot of people say, well, it's hereditary. It's in my family. My mom or dad, my grandma or grandpa is like that, so I'm going to be like that. They just give up. But that's not the case. It's not the case at all. That just means you need more education. You need more insight. You need that program that's going to work for you to counteract that disease. Yeah, you may have to work a little bit harder, but you know what? Guess what? Everybody has to work hard at something in their life. Not everything comes easy to everybody. So that's where you got to make the change. It all starts with your mentality, okay? It starts with how you think. You have stinking thinking, you're gonna have a stinking life. We don't want that stinking thinking. You'll hear me say that all day long. You want to get that out of your head. Get it out of your head, right? Your body performs. Your body loves motion. It loves activity. It responds in such a huge way to just a little bit of activity. And I'll tell you right now, guys, the smallest changes, remember this, the smallest changes give you the biggest results when you do it consistently. The smallest changes give you the biggest results when you do it consistently. I want you to write that down, okay? Tell me what that means to you in the description. Let me know how that pertains to you or to your life. Tell me something that you've done consistently, something that you just changed in a little way, and it made a huge improvement in any area of your life. It doesn't have to do with health, anything, all right? And you did it consistently. Tell me how that worked for you, okay? And I'll tell you what, 90% of the time, you're in a much better place than you were before because you did that. You decided, you made the choice, I'm going to do this. I'm going to hold myself accountable. You can have the best personal trainers in the world, the best motivational coaches in the world, but it always comes back to you. You're the one that has to make the choice. You're the one that has to find out the reason why. That's the biggest deal. That is where it's at right there. Okay, let's push it up again, guys. I got a little distracted. We're gonna push it up here. Get that heart rate. Zoom in. So you guys, I just love this one going on. You guys gotta find a passion, something you enjoy for exercise. Whatever that may be. It's all up to you. You'll find different things that you enjoy. That's the easiest way to make small changes or to make big changes by doing a small thing. I mean, to me, it's like brushing my teeth. It's part of who I am. It's part of my life. It's what I do. And, in anything in life, it just comes back to balance. So you start getting extreme in one way or another, you'll get burned out pretty quick, and it's going to be hard to make a lifestyle out of that. And that's the other key. That's the other point I wanted to make is those small things that you do that make the biggest changes, and you do them consistently, that becomes your lifestyle. Because now it's easy, right? So here's a challenge. Here's a challenge for you guys, and it's something you already do, awesome, but you want to be able to make sure that you're accomplishing one goal every day consistently. One thing, as big or small as it may sound. Here's an easy one, okay? And this is going to set you apart. When you accomplish a goal, that gives you so much pride. That gives you a sense of satisfaction, you know? Especially when you're working on a long-term goal, you gotta have those small increments of, okay, I accomplished this. Let's move to the next thing. So here it is. Stay with me. I encourage each and every one of you to make a goal, to make your bed, and not just make your bed, not just throw the covers over, make it perfectly. Like you guys, you've been to hotel rooms, nice hotels that just, you walk in and the bed is beautiful, especially if you've been on a cruise or a resort. You see, I'm not saying you have to make like a frog or a swan or out of the towel. It's not saying that. I'm just saying, make it perfectly, tuck it in, make those seams tight, you know, above your expectations. Do that every day. You can look back at that bed, right? You're like, oh, I did a good job. You come home at the end of the day, it's made perfectly. Oh, that's what I did this morning. I accomplished that. I am proud of myself, right? One goal, that's it. That goal leads to another goal. Because anytime you push yourself, anytime you begin to make a change, it's easier to make other changes. Change is the hardest thing in our lives. You know, we get comfortable. We get into a routine. You always want to be outside of that, right? Pushing yourself so you don't get comfortable. And you'll be rewarded for life in every aspect of your life, because you don't settle for less. You don't just settle for settling. Your whole life begins to change and adapt to that philosophy where you win every single day. So let me know in the chat who's going to do that. Who's going to do that challenge over the next week? All right, let's just make it a week challenge. We'll start with this week. All right, today's Thursday. Let's go ahead and get that going into the weekend. All right, start on a Friday morning. Whether you're listening to this, whatever day you listen to this, start it immediately. If you wake up, the first thing you do is watch my YouTube channel, and you haven't made your bed, go make your bed. You put it on pause, go make your bed, feel satisfied, feel that sense of accomplishment. You know, guys, growing up, and it's all how you look at things, right? It's all your perspective. People all the time make excuses. Oh, I don't have time, right? Well, life is what you make it. If you can continually say, I don't have time, you'll never have time for anything, right? You're not really living life anymore. You're in the point of living to work instead of working to live. Huge difference there. Don't live to work to live, right? That changes your perspective, that changes your attitude. Growing up, I had chores on Saturday morning, right? Like literally, I could watch one cartoon. In that day, it was like Bugs Bunny. Loved Bugs Bunny, one of my favorites. Loved watching Tarzan on Sundays, coming home from church. Another great show, but, and then we would eat breakfast together as a family. Have breakfast, and then I'd go mow the yard. My dad had a list of chores for us on Saturday. He instilled that work ethic in me at a very young age. And yeah, I didn't like it much as a kid. I really didn't. I'm like, oh man, Saturday, at least I get to watch my cartoons. But then I gotta go work. You know, and Dad was always like, hey, the sooner we finish this up, the sooner we go play, right? That carrot and stick, right? He'd always give me that. Cool, because I knew that play meant, oh, we're gonna barbecue some hamburgers, probably make some homemade ice cream, you know, have some fun, maybe go to a pool party, you know. So I knew it's gonna be worth it. I knew, hey, yeah, I want to knock this out, but I did not like it. Interesting though. Later in life, graduate from college, moved to Dallas, Texas. First job out of college, I had an apartment, and one day I was sitting there, I was looking at the landscaping. You know how apartments do. They have such nice, most of them have a really nice landscaping. The bushes are trimmed, the grass is perfect, sprinklers are going, have a beautiful pool. And I was thinking to myself, you know, I kind of miss mowing the yard. That's weird. Like, okay, I need to go check myself. Maybe I got I got heat stroke or something. I don't know, but you know, this is weird. So after working at the Cooper Clinic in Dallas, I moved to Houston, Texas. Got a job with Memorial Hermann as their clinical director, and really got a place. I got a place actually with my brother. I moved in with my brother. He had a home, he had a house, and I started mowing the yard again. Most peaceful time of my week was mowing that yard. One of the most satisfying things I did during the week. I was accomplishing a goal, right? I could look back on that yard and say, oh man, look at that perfect job I did. And that training came from when I was a young pup, right? Just a little lightning bolt at that time, a little Rainbolt. And it was awesome. I mean, first time I mowed a yard, you know, it was just so satisfying. A sense of accomplishment, something I could look forward to. And it's hot in Houston. Don't get me wrong, like it's hot. Like it's a different hot. It's like jungle hot. All right, the humidity is crazy. But you know, it's weird because I could get time to myself. I could think clearly, no distractions, no TV, me just mowing the yard. Every time I take a swipe down the yard with the mower, I know I'm accomplishing my goal, right? Such a great sense of satisfaction. And so it was interesting because I felt the same way I did when I was mowing the yard as I did when I went for a run. Only time I could really get into my head at times was when I went for a run. I was like exhausted, but that's when I could think the best. That's when things changed the most dramatically in my life. It's interesting. And you'll find things like that in your life if you already haven't. If you have, share those with me. Share, you know, what things in your life, what are you doing that does that clears your head, that you can think clearly, that it is your own time. No interference, no emails to read, no phone calls to answer, no interruptions. It's just you and, you know, when I'm running, just me and nature. When I'm on the yard, just me and nature. You know, I get back to nature. I love the ocean. I love the mountains. And, you know, you just push yourself. You examine yourself during those times. You know, what am I accomplishing? What am I going to accomplish this week? What's going to make a difference in other people's lives? How can I contribute to the quality of life for others? Your mindset shifts, it changes. It's exciting. That's why I started the Thrive Tribe channel. I call it the Rainbolt Thrive Tribe channel, but to be honest with you, it's your channel, guys. I want to make this your channel where you can contribute, where you can get the most you've ever gotten out of this, right? It's just not a channel. It's a movement. It really is. It's a situation where you thrive every single day. You look forward to getting up. You look forward to first thing hitting your feet on the floor out of the bed and going 100 miles an hour, because you've got something to accomplish. You've got motivation, right? And we're going to talk, of course, about health, about fitness, supplements, your journey. I'm going to have fitness routines on here, just like I am with the spiking routine. You guys probably think he's not paying attention to his heart rate, but I am. I know my heart rate. You get to a point, you physiologically exactly where you're at. For instance, like my heart rate's at 175 right now. I was thinking, yeah, it's probably about 170, 175. Yeah, I knew exactly where I was at, because I know that feeling without even having to look at my heart rate. And that's where your point you'll get to as well. You know your body so well. And that's called the kinesthetic experience, right? Mind-body awareness. Nothing more powerful. There's really not. That kinetic approach, nothing more powerful. When you have that connection with your body, you get results very rapidly, very quickly, instantaneously sometimes. Great place to be at. I challenge you, if you're not already there, to get there. I'm going to help you get there. I'm going to be pushing every single one of you, encouraging and motivating you to meet your health goals, your lifestyle goals, your spiritual goals, because it all goes together, guys. It all goes together. It's like driving a car, right? You got to put fuel in the gas tank just to get you going, right? You have to have a destination, first of all, before you get in your car. You got to know where you're going. You got to know how to get there. And that's what I'm going to be helping you guys with. I'll put fuel in your tank called motivation. And I'll keep you going with endurance, high quality fuels, high quality oils, high quality supplements to put into your body, high quality foods, nutrient dense foods you need every day to be consuming, to meet these health goals, to meet these health challenges. It's interesting. When I was training a lot of the pageant girls, they didn't have really a good conception of health and what it meant to actually be healthy. So I had to change their mindset. They thought not eating was the best way to get abs and look great. But I told every single one of them, hey, if you come into exercise for the day, we're training together, and you haven't eaten dinner, you haven't eaten a good breakfast, you're going to fail. And I'm not setting you up for failure, I'm setting you up for success. So you definitely want to be eating high quality, nutrient dense foods to set yourself up for success. And I'm going to be teaching you that. So it's just changed the mindset. And every single one of them who changed their mindset, who got it, who understood that, went on to be very successful in the pageants and the fitness competitions and swimwear, because they didn't only look healthy, they were healthy. And that changed their mentality too. They could think clearer. They had more rest, they had more sleep. They could function at a higher state than anybody else. How you doing? How y'all doing? So, it also goes back to, people don't understand how powerful that exercise is for your mental clarity, for brain health. Brain health is huge these days. Everybody's heard of that. And it's always been like that, but unfortunately we've stuffed our bodies with a lot of chemicals, a lot of toxins that we encounter every single day. And it doesn't allow us to get into a state of really operating in a very effective way. So, we're going to be teaching some thoughts and ideas on how to increase that acuity. There's a new study that just came out about preventing Alzheimer's disease. If you have a family history of Alzheimer's disease, this is very important. I want to give you a quick tip right here on this intro video, okay? So there's a supplement that you may be aware of. It's the most studied supplement on the market. It's been studied for over 50 years, and it's called creatine monohydrate, right? Our bodies naturally produce creatine, but not at sufficient levels anymore. Creatine has shown to be a direct correlation with stimulating parts of the brain to help prevent Alzheimer's disease. How huge is that? Now, so far there's been many studies done, and I want to include that study below. Anytime I mention a study to you guys, I'm always going to reference it with a journal article. And I'm not talking some WebMD, I'm talking true science. These articles will come from, because that's how I learned in college. National Institutes of Health, the NIB, NIH. So all of these, I always try to keep up on the latest studies and trends, because I want to see what's preventing chronic disease and illness. And I have to. Not only do I like to, but I want to, because education is knowledge. So you get to the point of just always educating yourself. I want to educate you as much as possible. I always tell my clients, my goal for you is to get rid of me. I want to educate you so much. You have the power and knowledge to train yourself, and the motivation, because the results you've seen. That's our goal here. It's not to keep you on as a trainer for the rest of your life. I haven't done my job. If you've been training with a trainer forever, take a step back and just go back and say, why am I doing this? Now, there are certain times in your life. I have clients that call me back. I've trained with them for 5-10 years. And they just need a little bit of motivation. They just need something new, right? Nothing's wrong with that. If you're seeing a trainer twice a week, and you've been doing that a long time, maybe it's the motivation that you need from a personal trainer. Sometimes that happens. But sometimes they become a friend. You just like hanging out with them. But I tell you, I don't pay my friends to hang out with them. So just look at that. Try to look at that in a healthy way. That relationship, right, with your trainer, with your health guru. But I'm going to give you the knowledge, give you the encouragement, the motivation, like I said earlier, to give you what it takes to meet your health goals, your lifestyle goals. Right? There's no fluff here. Like I said, everything I do, I back up with science. I'm not going to recommend something to you that I don't take personally, or I don't do myself. I don't do that, right? So I'm not going to be recommending supplements I don't take myself. I'm going to give you the best knowledge on that. Excuse me, guys. See, that's my AT here. I know I'm above my anaerobic threshold because I have a more open jaw. My nose is starting to run. See me right now. So let's see what my heart rate's at. Yeah, 178. So my AT is right at 170, 175. And it can change kind of on a daily basis. So don't get freaked out. One day you're doing a cardio class, or you're out for a run, or something like that, and you're like, oh man, I'm breathing harder today. My AT's already up there. That's not even where I should be. It doesn't take me. So listen to your body. You got to listen to your body. You're not feeling well that day. Hey, your body's telling you it's time to recover. Recovery is the most important thing you can do when engaging in an exercise program. Your body needs time to heal. You got to allow it that time to heal. We're going to go into a lot of that. We're going to exercise fatigue, right? What burns you out, what causes injuries, to help you not have injuries when you're trying to get results. That's the worst thing ever. Is you're plugging along, but you've been pushing your body way too hard and it hasn't time to recover. You think you're making great results, but your body's shutting down. So, again, it goes back to balance, right? Everything in life is about balance. That's how God created us, and that's how we should live our lives. Pushing one way or another too hard, it's going to eventually give out and break. I mean, like I was telling you guys earlier, there were several moments in my life that were just aha moments for me. I mean, when I was just a young pup, back in high school, I got severely dehydrated, had calf cramps, put me out of 2 games and practiced for a week and a half. I hated it, and I learned the importance of sodium and potassium and the balance of electrolytes. A hard lesson to learn, right? Once I learned it, I've never forgot it. And I teach a lot on hydration to people. Majority of people are dehydrated. They're not getting enough. They don't have that balance of sodium and potassium in their lives. So we're gonna go into that, how to stay properly hydrated. So very important, all these things, I'm looking forward to teaching you guys, learning from you as well. I always learn from the community. I always learn from my clients. I always do. I learn something. They share something with me. I begin to investigate it. You guys have a question for me? I don't know. I'll tell you. I don't know. And I'll go research it for you. There's something you're looking at taking. You've already talked to your doctor about it. You want another opinion? Let me know. I'd be more than happy to give you my opinion, my advice on what's going on. Right? So, it all goes back to education, knowledge. I keep talking about this roadmap. I want to introduce you guys to what's called the Bioscan. I've used in cardiology offices for the last 16 years. Been very successful in identifying heart disease, diabetes, stroke, liver dysfunction, digestive disorders, kidney dysfunction, prostate cancer, all at its earliest stages. That's non-invasive. I'll be doing a test live, so I can introduce this to you guys, and you can truly understand the power of the Bioscan, understand the true power of a health assessment, a fitness assessment. I'll give you guys different ways to identify the most important factors that you need to be testing on an ongoing basis. Body composition, body fat, what kind of weight you actually have, visceral fat, how to measure that. That's the kind of fat that begins to kill you, that becomes toxic, that destroys your organs. What levels you need to be at, your hydration levels, your heart condition, your heart rate variability, your VO2 max, your carbon dioxide levels, all of this, right? So there's definitely a lot to get into. This video, I appreciate you guys sticking with me too. I tell you what, if you've stuck with me to the end here, I'm going to give you guys an extra little tip of advice that's going to absolutely change and transform your body. If you're trying to lose weight, trying to increase muscle tissue, trying to improve your cardiovascular performance, or you're just trying to get healthier, all right, I'm going to give something to you guys that you will be invaluable. So just post an email to me and let me know in the chat that, hey, I've stuck around, I've listened to the whole video, and give me one thing from this video that you got out of, okay? Something new that you learned that you didn't know before, or maybe something that you maybe knew but have never implemented and that you want to implement. Okay, so hey, this is Greg Rainbolt with the Thrive Tribe. Join the Thrive Tribe. Let's do this together. Smash that like button, subscribe, and let's get your health journey, your fitness journey going, guys. This is exciting times, and I'm here for you, okay? I am here for you. We're going to rock this out. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited to work with every single one of you. So again, welcome to the Thrive Tribe. Let's go.